Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs, and I reckon it's just about time to blow this thing to bits. This one. Okay, so I'm not actually going to blow it to bits like with dynamite and stuff. I'm going to undo the nuts and bolts and screws and take it apart with tools and stuff. Before I give you a bit of a kind of a summary of where we've been at with the old Area 51, what we've been doing lately, and if you haven't been watching and this is your first time here, welcome aboard. Get on that subscription button and hit that for us. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Right, so let's get into our little summary. Okay, so as the thumbnail or title probably suggests, this is a 1951 Chevrolet Fleetline Deluxe, and as you can see, it's got a couple of modifications, namely roof chop, 3 inches in the front, 4 in the back, modified the front fenders to accommodate 56 Chev headlight bezels, changed all the rear arches and built custom fender skirts. There's a video on, well, modifying the skirts, not the actual build of them. I've built all those before I started doing these videos. We have 55 Chev rear bumper, modified rear quarters and tail pan, section boot lid. I have to get around here. What else have we got? If you watched last week's video, you'll have seen I relocated these 65 Thunderbird seats out and back a smidge. The previous video of modifying the 4-door 51 or 4-door Chev seats, I'm not 100% sure what they were out of, to fit in the roof chop 51. Modified trans tunnel, junkyard e-brake, locker shifter, attaching to a 4L60E behind the LS1. Hang on, see if we can get in here. How do you do this again? I can't remember. Where's it? That's not it. Okay, in the power barn we got fairly stock LS1 with a mild cam. What have we done in here? We've done the air intake, cold air intake doohickeys for the just getting some cold air into the cabin on a hot summer's day. Recently done the battery tray, which we had to relocate the overflow, electric fan mounts and brackets and bracketry for the trans cooler. Got rid of the squeaky springs and did a gas strut conversion, which took a bit of figuring out, but we got there in the end. Underneath all this, we've got a Heights Mustang 2 independent front suspension, IFS as they're known in some circles. That was on the car when I bought the car. Seems to be all square and in the right places, but I might be doing a little bit of re-welding in there when we get that far into the chassis, just for my own peace of mind. Not that my welding's the best. Some of the welding that was on this when I got it was a bit questionable on the rear axle housing, so didn't take much walloping with a hammer to snap them off. So I thought I'd better maybe just investigate the front stuff a little bit more. So we got had to do a brake booster conversion pedal and then accelerator pedal mount. Up under the dash we have our vintage air heater unit, just a heater unit, heater demister, not an AC doodad. In under the glove box there, that's where the ECU is going to mount, under this thing here. That's it up there. So So we'll have to make a glove box in there. These are my heater controls in the old stereo hole, or radio wireless hole, whatever you want to call it. Aside from all the body mods, did a little bit of rust work in the doors and repaired a bit of damage in that underneath and a few different places. Floors were largely done, or the main part of the floor, from the firewall toe board back to the seat riser in the back. They had been replaced with new steel, same with the rockers, and these lower things had already been replaced when I got it. One was done really well on one side down here, but the other side was like crooked, like it just was really crooked. But to be fair, the guy bought it off, he was telling me that it was his first kind of project that stalled ultimately, but he was learning as he was going, as we all do. And what do we got? Got air ride going in it, so we've modified the A-arms to take airbags, and we'll see more of that later if you subscribe to the channel and follow along when we get to the chassis, and well, you'll see what's going on there. Still got to do bump stops for the front, I think. Might get bags with bump stops in yet. Back here in the trunk, or the boot, come around this side. Deleted the boot lock. At the moment I've just got this cable release temporarily hooked up here, and we've done a gas strut conversion in here as well. Got rid of the old squeaky springs that squeak and grind in there. We've got a step up C-notch that we've done in the back. That's what all this box is covering, and so all the air rides hiding under there. You'll see some more of that later, or go and have a look at one of the previous videos. Little air tank, valve block, compressors mounted. Well, that one's just sitting there, I think. What have we got here? Been a little bit of work done on the floor. Got this aftermarket fuel filler flat thing which I broke the other week, so I've got to find another one of those. Kind of regretting that a little bit now. It's a bit flimsy. I don't know whether I'd buy another one of those again. Actually, didn't even think about that until I walked into it and bent the thing backwards. But it's life. Spare wheel well delete. Not enough room for that kind of carry on. We've got a new tanks ink tank to go in here with in-tank pump. Not sure what sort of pumps they are. I think they're Walbros or something, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember. It's in the documentation. Yeah, variety of brackets and braces and doodads that had to be made up to kind of fit all this where I wanted to fit it. But I think that's kind of it. Oh, I made some sill plates and some extra little things to run wiring and that in and modify the thing that I'll show you. These things. So we made these so we can run wiring and stuff up under those, and then I've made new sill plates to cover them and stuff. Which, check that video out. It's back there in the video catalogue. Just made out of aluminium. And a bead roller and a hammer and some bits of RHS and stuff like that. So I'm getting puffed, talking too fast. But anyway, so that's where we're at with the Area 51 project. At this point in time, it's time to start pulling it all apart and bagging up all the fasteners, and it's a time consuming process, so we don't just have a big jar of nuts and bolts and washers and then I'm wondering what the hell it's all about. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to get to pulling apart all this stuff that I've been bolting in there over the last 6 months or whatever, and boxing it all up, putting it all away, and then I've got to find places to put things. As you can see, it's not a big space, so I need to have somewhere, to store this stuff until we're ready to put it all back on the car. So a lot of the little bits will be able to go into that little back room over there. I cleaned that out the other week so I can store some stuff in there, but it's the big stuff, the sheet metal and the grill and all that sort of shit. When I take that off, I don't know where it's going to go. So it might stay on there until the last minute, until we're ready to put the body on the body dolly thing, and then we'll be rolling into summer and I can get this thing in and out of the garage while I work on the other bits. Oh, the other thing I've got to do is I've got to bore a hole in the firewall so I can put my oils grommet in. So I might drill that hole before I pull everything out, because I was toiling around with it this morning where I'm going to put the harness. I was going to drill the hole over there, but that side's already got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm decided I'm going to drill the hole over here so the harness can pop through the firewall, drop down, and then come up into the back of the motor, and all the wiry doodads and electric stuff that's going to make this thing go apparently will kind of sneak up the back of the block. Yeah, once the body comes off, I've got to do some little modifications to the firewall, just clearance a couple of things for the transmission. I think I need to check all that before I actually pull it off, so I know where I've got to do those. Draw a circle on them and mark them or something like that. And yeah, so that's a big 10 minute, 10-13, but like a long speech about the Area 51 project and where it's at now. Probably, hopefully, been seeing all the little nitty gritty bits and pieces that we've been working on, bracketry and mounts and stuff on the Area 51 project. Now, I'm kind of reaching this point now where most of that stuff is done that I can think of. So I'm kind of getting ready to actually start pulling it all apart again, boxing up all my new bits and pieces and putting them away nicely, and getting all my brackets and stuff and getting them together and getting them to paint. But yeah, this is it. We're at this point, and I need to get this thing up off the ground so I can get under the floor and finish up all the floor and all the spot welds and clean all the surface rust off and get it all in etch primer and under seal and paint and all that kind of stuff. I've got to finish all sorts of work on the chassis, so I need the chassis out from under the body. And but before I can do any of that, I've actually got to take heaps of stuff back off it and kind of blow it all apart, take all my air-ride stuff out of the boot and take all the bracketry and stuff out of the front and take all the sheet metal off it that would all bolt off it, so I'll pretty much be back to a bare body shell. Then I've got to get some steel to make up a dolly to be able to put this on there. Possibly going to need my engine crane back soon, mate, Carl, who I lent it out to, so I can kind of lift it onto said dolly, and then yeah, got a plan for that. Just remembered, the other thing I've got to do is valve springs for the valves on the old LS1, and I've got to pin the crank as well, when this all the front comes off and we pull the motor back out, stuff like that. So we'll do those valve springs and yeah, just get that done. Got a valve pin kit, crank pin kit from a buddy. He did his just recently, so but I can't get to mine with the drill right now because there's just that stuff's in the way. And so I'll get to that, and when we pull it all apart later, I should really write a list. I did used to write lists, and then it all got stuck on the fridge. It doesn't actually wash off anymore. My wash off pen didn't. Now I have to use like chemicals on there to get that off. But anyway, so carry on. I need to go and buy a 50mm or 2-inch hole saw. Wow, what a difference having a brand new hole saw makes. That just cut through there. I didn't have to burn it through and all that kind of stuff. So awesome. I should buy some more. They're quite expensive though, so I probably won't buy them just yet. But there, so that's my main hole for the old wiring harness coming through. Now I'll start pulling some stuff apart. Actually no, I won't. I'll drill the little screw holes for that, and then I'll pull some stuff apart. Okay, 4 little holes, check, that goes in there like that, sort of, and then the harness will come out of there. So now pull some stuff apart. If you followed the channel, you probably heard me rabbiting on about all these dome-headed stainless 6mm bolts that I'm using, right? And how they're painfully slow to do up and undo and all that kind of stuff. So I was rummaging around in this little old tuna tin of random little sockets and stuff, and I found this little bit here. Now I've got that going into a socket with a variety of extensions, so I can get into places like that. Happy days. It's going to speed stuff up somewhat. Okay, carry on. There's the 2 bolts that I lost months ago when I was doing the electric fan mounts and stuff. I lost those. Managed to snap a bolt. That was good. But anyway, carry on. See, got this much out. Okay, so I forgot that that last screw doesn't actually have to come all the way out, and the wiper motor just fell out just then because it's on a slotted doohickey. See that slotted thing up there, and that one is too. So hopefully it's alright, but yeah. I think when I come to put that one back in, I'll just put normal hex head things, not bloody dome nuts in there, because that's just painful. But wiper motor out. Well guys, close the door on that exciting episode of Area 51 update. Here's my pile of parts I now need to find homes for, and paint some and polish some. And there's the Area 51. Still looks pretty much the same as it did when I started this morning. But there's a heap of stuff missing out of there now, and there's a heap of stuff missing out of there now. So yeah, next plan, find homes for all that stuff. And then probably look at taking all the front and that back off. So when I get my steel, hopefully this week, maybe next week, to make my roll around trolley dolly thing, I'm ready to go with that. And then I can lift the body off onto this sort of dolly system that I've got a loose plan for in my head, so I can still park the chassis and the body in this bay of the garage. And then if I want to work on the underbody of the body, I can roll the chassis outside. And then if I want to work on the chassis, I can roll the body outside and work on the chassis in here. So for now, I'll probably need to keep the chassis rolling while I work on the underbody, get that dialed in. And then, yeah, when it's all right for the chassis to be not rolling anymore and just stationary in here, then I can just roll the body in and out. But that's my plan anyway. You'll see. Subscribe and then you'll find out what's going on when it goes on. So until then, yeah, subscribe. But anyway, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks for watching as always, if you're still watching at this point, and take it easy till next time. Peace.